in first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your mega preview pod for this week's Players Championship. It's storylines, it's best bets, and it's our one and done picks. And joining me to break it all down, the coach is here. What's up, Coach?
I tell you what, I had a rough week last week. I would be a great golf bettor if I only bet 54 holes of an event. But unfortunately, you got to do all 72, so I'm hoping this week I can bounce back.
You are the Keegan Bradley of golf betting. You get off to that hot start, and then things get real rocky the rest of the way. Kyle Porter is here. KP, what's going on?
Man, I love Players Week. It's so fun. It's already been a fun week, and I'm fired up about the rest of it. So I'm ready to talk some golf.
And Mark Immelman rounds out our foursome. And Mark, that looks like a hotel room to me. How's it going?
How's it, boys? Outside here is the Slammer and the Squire, and the World Golf Village is just over there. And Coach, if golf tournaments were 54 holes, bro, I'd be playing. I wouldn't be talking.
I got two things I got to say. You're right. I have spent so many nights in that same hotel when we do PGA Tour Live, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And by the way, boys, did you see that little picture on social media where our guy Mark literally told the entire world that he outkicked his coverage in marriage? Because that picture you had of your gorgeous wife was incredible. Good for you, Mark. That was amazing. Good for you.
With my upcoming travel schedule, Coach, across the summer, I've got to find all the points I can.
There you go. I get it. That's awesome.
I absolutely love it. And Mark, if you run into Kyle's buddy Gary Player down there filming a new commercial, let us know. Get Kyle on. There he is. Perfect.
There was actually a tour group downstairs. There was a tour group, Kyle, from downstairs. They'd just come in from Memphis, and they were actually asking if you were around. Really, they were.
Yeah, more of my people. They're probably looking for all the trees on those great courses there. So, you can show them the way.
Absolutely love it, gentlemen. We've got a lot to talk about, but first I have to let you know about Paramount Plus, which is live right now. And you've probably seen the journey to Mount Paramount featuring Bill Cowher, James Corden, Patrick Stewart, and even Beavis and Butthead. Yes, it's quite a squad, but Paramount Plus is live sports. It's breaking news and a mountain of entertainment. You can go straight from game day to movie night with Paramount Plus. Stream iconic movies like The Godfather, Indiana Jones, and Mission Impossible. And there are new episodes of critically acclaimed original series like Star Trek Picard, The Good Fight, and The Stand. And get this, it's where you can dive into live sports from us, CBS Sports, including the NFL, March Madness, the Masters, and Champions League Soccer. Stream your hit shows from CBS, Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Smithsonian Channel, and Comedy Central. It's live sports, it's breaking news, it's a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus is streaming now. Gentlemen, it's Players Championship week, and I kind of want to take a step back to this time in 2020 because it's been a whirlwind, obviously. We've been talking a lot, KP, about how we played one round of this event last year, and I was just reflecting a little bit, and I was just going back and thinking how quick everything changed last year, right? And how quick information was coming in, not only around the globe, but here in our little world, the golfing world, where we went from playing an event to letting fans in, to not letting fans in, to canceling the whole thing in a matter of hours. And we didn't know what it was going to lead to. And it led to a 91-day shutdown. And I just kind of reflect about how quick everything happened and how our sport and our world were really upended.
For sure. And, I've been doing this for, 8 years now. So that's 3,000 days, I don't know, it's 2,900 days, whatever the number is. And you don't remember 98% of them. You don't remember 2,998 of them, but there are a couple that you do remember. And the one that I remember the most is that Wednesday night. It's sitting there watching the NBA stuff unfold. Everything happened so fast. And I sort of, like, everybody loves to dunk on Monahan and the PGA Tour and all this stuff. And I understand, like, I get it. They were there. It could have been handled better, but I sort of empathize with how quickly everything unfolded. And it was like, oh my gosh, like we might have to not have, and then it's like everything's canceled for 3 months. And it was just, it happened like that. I remember Rory being really good on just like what the direction should be. Rory, I remember I wrote an article like Rory was the adult in the room, and he was awesome and all that stuff. And it was such a wild thing. I did see somebody on Twitter suggest that they should be able to keep their, I think it was Jim Herman said they should keep their scores from first round last year and just make it a 5-round tournament, which would be awesome. It'd be like the old American Express when it used to be 5 rounds. But yeah, it was a wild week, and it's crazy to think back on now a year later.
It certainly is. And Mark, you're in the thick of it week in and week out. And we look back and we say, it ended up being 91 days, right? That's the number we keep saying, but in no way did we know that, right? Like we just knew that golf was on hiatus, and every week that went by, we were wondering, when's golf coming back? Is it coming back? And there was just so much unknown that it was a weird place to be, and a weird place to be for everybody, obviously.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, to this event last year, we were in a different hotel, so maybe this brings some good vibes for this year's event. Yeah, and I just remember the first round was we made it through the first round. We were sitting at dinner. We had a dinner meeting with our producer, and we were planning for the next day's show. And I get walking back to the hotel, and I get these text messages from HQ. Can you get on? And I'm like, why? And they're like, you hadn't heard the event's been canceled. And I'm like, well, this is the first I heard of it. And we were sitting with rules officials. And then the following morning, watching that press conference by Commissioner Monahan was pretty moving. And then, no one knew what was up. Everyone was nervous. Everyone was fearful. I drove home to Columbus, which is like a 5.5-hour journey. And during that time, I found out the Masters was canceled. And all of a sudden, all these dominoes began to fall. And then you go through that break, and it was kind of crazy because no one knew when. But then I was so proud of the tour, how they were resolute in deciding we're coming back here. They set out the schedule. They set out the protocols. It went off good the first week in Fort Worth. The second week at RBC, the Heritage, there were a few hiccups. And Monahan remained resolute. He's like, we believe in what we do. There were a lot of calls for him to shut down again. And I saw him that week, and he looked tired. He really looked tired and kind of whipped. And I said to him, how you doing? And he goes, it's just tired, and it's hard, and I'm tired. But they stuck to it. And in the end, I mean, these guys have come out smelling like a rose, really, to bring sport back, to bring golf back, now to bring some fans back. I mean, last week at the API was so cool to see on TV. I'm jacked tomorrow to get out there and see what the fans are like. We've got a preview show on, so I'm not sure there'll be fans out tomorrow, but certainly Thursday and through the week. So it's kind of nice for our game, this game I love so much, to be sort of the tip of the spear when it came to this. And so I'm proud of everyone involved down the road here at Ponte Vedra, and I got to tell you, that golf course looks in fantastic shape. Yeah, it's going to be a tremendous week if we make it through 4 rounds this time.
Yeah, I remember the and we talked about this probably 9 months ago. The added responsibility that you guys felt bringing sport back is essentially what you were doing. And I want to talk about fans quick, Coach. But Mark brings up some of these HQ hits. I can't even count the HQ hits I did last year with no information about what was going on in the world, no information about. And just like, well, here's what I think's happening. This will probably change in the next 30 minutes, but here's what I think is happening right now. It was absolutely bonkers. Fans are coming back, Coach. Slowly but surely, we're seeing them week in and week out. We are seeing and hearing from players about what that means for their game. Guys getting amped up about it again, using the energy coming off of these crowds. Bryson mentioned it countless times last week at the Arnold Palmer. Rory has been on record multiple times saying he thrives off these fans. So here we go. We're now entering back into limited number, but there will be fans out on golf courses, moving forward for the most part.
Well, what about Jordan Spieth after his hole-in-one? That was the first thing he talked about, was how loud. He said, I was surprised at how loud the eruption was during my hole-in-one. But to kind of piggyback what the other two guys have said leading into your question about the fans, and I think everybody from the fans to the leadership to the players, they were the one sport that you didn't hear anybody complaining. You didn't hear anybody saying, we're not going to do this. It was everybody going on one train, down one track. And there were some hiccups. There were some stoppages. But they never stopped again. And I think that's a leadership that we can turn to. And then now they strategically, guys, allowed fans like 2,000. Now it's 5,000. And now you're starting to see the other organizations, baseball already coming out saying they're going to allow 20%. Then it's going to be, I think with golf, by the middle of the summer, you're going to see probably 50 to 80% back to capacity. And it makes a huge difference. I'm sure all of you guys are the same. It started driving me nuts to hear some people on TV go, got to have the fans back. We get it. We want the fans back. But then I've got to eat a little crow and say, listen, my criticism was not warranted. I didn't realize till last week how much of a difference these fans truly make. And when Bryson did what he did, when Jordan did what he did, it was loud. And that's what I'm here for. And I never want to go back to last June, hopefully, God willing, ever again.
Hey, Rick, just fast forwarding a bit, and I'm hoping I'm not ruining your rundown. I haven't got to look because I honestly just got in. I got into an email from our producer at CBS telling us that the Canadian Open has been cancelled, postponed, whatever you want to say. And so, and I look at this through all these events that went on in the United States on the PGA Tour. And now we're going, and to Coach's point, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, because now fans are coming back, and you kind of feel the snowball going, and all of a sudden Canada decides, no, we can't do this. That'll be a little bit of a hiccup, but I'm just keen to see how the tour bounce back from this, because I'm pretty certain, like they did in the blink of an eye last year with the Workday Open at Memorial, how quickly they rustle something together. So I'm expecting we'll see more of the same.
Yeah, that news this morning was a bit of a reminder that we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we're certainly not out of the tunnel yet. And the PGA Tour is going to do their best to find a 1-year fill-in for that event. And hey, maybe it is a work day, and maybe Morikawa can win another work day. Yeah, I'll just go for the whole. He'll go for the whole thing. But this week down there at TPC Sawgrass, we got a little bit of information about the tour adding an internal out of bounds, KP, which first of all, internal OB, that's like an oxymoron, right? Like I don't even know what that means, internal OB. But essentially what's happening here is on 18, they're putting an internal OB next to the lake so that you can't drive it back down 9. And everyone is just saying this is the Bryson rule.
It is the Bryson rule. And we've seen this at, help me out, Hoylake. I think Hoylake had it. Is that right, Mark? There was an open venue that had it.
Yeah, there've been a few down the track, and but I can't think of the most recent one. But it's pretty standard stuff there with Links Golf in the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
they just did it at Y Live. They just did it at Y Live for the Sony Open. Yeah.
Apparently they did it in the release. They said that they did it last week with Bay Hill. I think it was the thing where trying to go down. Was it 3, Mark? From the 6 tee box, like trying to, which again, another Bryson thing.
Well, that was the thing. And then Kyle, quickly to that, then the right side of 8, there are actually 2 golf courses at Bay Hill, and Bryson drilled it into the parking area, which is on the other golf course over there. That was a right side of 9. I thought that was out of bounds, incidentally, but it wasn't. There was OB left in that hole.
So this is like Bryson. I think he's more excited that they put the internal OB than he would have been to go for, like, to hit it over up 9 at TPC Sawgrass. Like, I think this is what thrills him. Like, this is what he this is what he lives for. And I know you guys like give me a hard time about the inflection point thing, but like and for people who haven't heard, like I said that here we go. We got a photo up on, if you're watching on YouTube, that to go up 9 and then over to 18. It does seem really difficult to do. Although hitting the 18 fairway doesn't look very easy.
Let me tell you something, all right? But this is Bryson. This is clickbait, because driving it across to that other fairway is not easy. And where the cursor is moving, that is actually in the second shot in the layup zone on the 9th hole there. So that's where it had to drive it, and that's a very narrow area. And if it's too far, there's a bunker there that is just downright nasty. And then from there, you're playing to a green that is the size of a gnat's rear end. I mean, it is small. And coming from that angle over water with nothing but moguls in behind there, I'd rather him just hit 4-iron off the tee and hit like 8-iron from 200 or whatever he does, and make 4 fours. I mean, this is Bryson just charging up the Twitterati, and everyone's biting on this one. I'm wondering, Kyle, and maybe you could shed some light on this. Why is he telegraphing his decisions? If he's wanting to go down 9, why blast it all over the internet? Just go ahead and do it on Thursday and then blow everyone's minds. Because
he wants the attention. The attention's fun, right? Like, I think that's part of it. But I also think that, like, real quick, Rick, you guys make fun of me for the inflection point thing where I said the US Open at Winged Foot was an inflection point. But I think this, like, what happened here was a little bit instructive about what I'm talking about, because in 2030 or 2035, my 10-year thing, there's going to be 50 guys that want to do stuff like this. I'm not saying necessarily drive it up 9 at TPC Sawgrass, but there's going to be 80 guys that do this. This is like what the future looks like, right? This is the future of golf. And when there's 80 guys that want to do it, the tour's going to have a harder time making a rule, because we talked about this with the divot thing on Sunday, right? Like it's or with the playing the ball down. Players don't want mud balls. They want things to be as easy and comfortable as possible. So if there's 80 guys that want to drive it up 9, are you still going to make an internal OB? And if not, then is this what we want golf to be? Not to be to do the Nick Saban thing again, but it's not. Like it just is. Like if you look at what Bryson is doing and see all the stuff that he's talking about and what that future looks like, and think that there's not a distance problem, or that the future is like, oh, we're good to go here, that's crazy. Like, you can't look at it and think that there shouldn't be some sort of like rollback or just a mitigation of what the distance is in golf, because it's just going to become a joke at some point. It's fun right now because it's Bryson. We love to talk about it, but at some point it is going to become a joke when everybody is trying to do it.
Well, I mean, this harkens back to like 1979, where there was a guy called Lon Hinkle. This is way before all of your time. It was in the US Open, and he took it down. I can't remember the hole there at Inverness in the US Open, and took it down one hole. And then PJ Boatwright, who then was the executive director or whatever you call them, they had a tree installed that evening for the following morning to cut off that line.
And that's better than doing an OB. Let's just throw a tree up there.
it was named the Hinkle tree for the longest time. So throughout the game, folks, if there's been shortcuts, they try and take it. And if they have the ability of hitting the thing far, they're going to do it. And all that the organizing bodies are going to do is respond with in-course OBs. You know, they'll put in their spectator stands and stuff like that. But this has been happening since Moby Dick was a minnow. To be honest with you, Bryson's just taking it to a different level because of social media.
So two follow-up points, Kyle. Your point about the inflection point is aging better, so that's good. And also, Mark, he can telegraph this because it's not like a basketball strategy for defense. If you can't do it, it doesn't matter if you know where Bryson's going over there. If you can't hit that shot, it doesn't matter if you know your opponent's doing it.
I'm actually disappointed. Sorry, Kyle, because I believe I've got their group Thursday afternoon. I think I do in the feature groups coverage for PGA Tour Live. And when I heard the rumblings about this, whenever it was, I was like, man, I hope I'm there, because I want to be able to call this thing with like, what the heck are you thinking right now? But it's just fun to. I think it's fun. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. 6 last week makes a whole bunch of sense in the right conditions. But we're gonna have this stuff start to grow legs and such. But to your point, Rick, if you had to poll the players if they were able to, I'd be keen to see how many folks would actually take that line off 18 to try and play that hole.
Why did you say it was aging better? Like, what is your reasoning for that?
Because the more he dominates and the more he wins and the more he does stuff like this, the more other players are going to chase it, the more this is going to be normal. It's like when Steph Curry changes the game in the NBA and now teams shoot more threes than they do twos. If Bryson is successful, everyone else will do it, and it will then become an inflection point.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm getting at. And I think the difference in golf is that you completely, and maybe this is what happened in basketball too, but you completely change the entire like way the game looks because you don't have enough room like the longer guys get, the less room you have. Like you can't like make Sawgrass bigger. I mean, you kind of can, but not forever, not indefinitely. They don't have indefinite amounts of land. And so that's the part where you're like, man, this is just a different sport. And maybe people like that. I don't really. And it's not just about 2021. It's about 2041 and 2061. And I think that's where some of the distance stuff comes into play.
And all of this really ties into Coach's big storyline for the week. And Coach, it's really hard to argue with you here. You come from a world of entertainment, and is there anybody? I don't think there's anybody more entertaining than Bryson, good or bad, right now. I don't want to say he's the most entertaining player of all time, but like this guy is doing things that is bringing more and more eyeballs to our game.
There's never been a player in the history. The reason I wrote it in there in the history of the game that normal people, maybe Tiger, but it was because of all the spectacular shots that he hit from the bunker and all the different things that Tiger did. This is just sheer entertainment. This is people showing up saying, I want to watch what that dude is going to do. I want to watch how he does it. And then I want to watch the amazement with which other people are enjoying it. That's entertainment. And I really, really wish. And I know that I'm new to the national golf stage, relatively speaking. I know I'm new to the PGA Tour, but I also come from the biggest sport entertainment background in the world. And if you're entertaining, I don't care who you are, people want to come watch you play. And I wish more players would figure out a way that they could be entertaining too. It doesn't have to be like what Bryson's doing, but players that will complain about not having enough sponsorship dollars, be entertaining. Bryson likes the attention. That's cool with me. You should want to entertain the fans that are paying $35, $50 a ticket to come out and watch you play. It shouldn't be just about playing boring golf, hit the middle of the fairway, hit the green, and two-putt. And that's what he does. And other than Tiger, I would love for somebody to tell me a player ever that has had this kind of attention for all the different things that he does.
I don't really have anything to add. I just want to say I love this take. I think this is an awesome take. And I think that it's true. Like we get so wound up about the seriousness of golf. And like even now I'm talking about like the USGA's rule, all this different stuff. And it's like I'm just like not me, but most people are just watching because they want to see something fun. Yeah. And that's why people like Spieth. That's why Tiger was so I was thinking about the Tiger putt on 17 today because DJ had a quote about like it's on every 5 seconds, so just wait a minute and it'll be on again, which I thought was hilarious. But think about like how different that was to see Tiger out there, and like he was almost like accidentally an entertainer just because he won so much. I think Bryson's more purposeful, like he's sort of this sideshow type deal, but also really good. Like that doesn't take away from how good he is. But I think that's a great. I love that viewpoint of kind of what's happening.
I was thinking about this, Coach, while you were talking there, and in golf, we get celebrations after putts, right? Big putts, big moments, chip ins. I was racking my brain for another time. We saw a celebration, Coach, on a drive. The guy hits a drive, and he's like, I can't think of another example ever.
When was the last time you saw memes, GIFs, all these things that we don't even really know how they came up with those names, and that's what he was on Saturday. And I love the fact because to me, great moments in sports or entertainment is all about the anticipation. And he talked about it, but how many of us really thought that he was going to try it? I didn't, especially we talked about it on the show last week. What did we say? No. That if he was in contention, I said if he's out of contention. We said if he's in contention, there's no way he's going to try it. And he did it. And it's about doing it in the moment, pulling it off. And have any of us thought about what happens if it hits in the middle of the lake? How embarrassed he would be, how foolish he would look. And instead, think of the moment he's always going to have. And that's what the great ones do. And he's winning on top of it. And that ticks everybody off because they don't want both. You don't want both. And he is both. And I'm here for it.
You know who I compared him to on Sunday, Coach?
Who's that?
Manny Ramirez.
Interesting.
Bryson being Bryson.
You hate to love him. You hate to love him.
He steps up there. You're like, this guy's unbelievable, but I also think he might be a little crazy, and I don't totally know what's going to happen right here. And that's like the thrill of it. I mean, I think that is, what did we say today when they did the internal OB thing? Oh, just Bryson being Bryson. It's like the Manny being Manny thing.
That's really good. I like that a lot. There's probably few courses as entertaining as TPC Sawgrass, Mark, and this is a course that has actually grown on you over time, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, listening to your conversation and the points are so well founded, and they sort of mix into what I want to point out about this golf course. The first time I got here, I thought Pete Dye was crazy. Looking at this place, the first hole I went and saw when I came and scouted the place was the 17th. You drive down 18, I stand on 18-10. I look at the left side there, and there's nothing but water, and the fairway looks like it's so narrow. And then I get to 17, I'm like, this is downright silly. And then when I played the golf course the first time, I was like, this is just too hard. But then I got to tell you, the more I came here and the more then I came here as an announcer, and you see the strategy behind the place, and you see the visuals and the angles that Dye created, and how he challenges you to drive it at the trouble. And if you do and you pull the shot off, you set up your next shot in the best way. Now, there's always a bailout on every hole, even though it doesn't look like it, because there's like sawgrass and water and bulkheads and stuff everywhere. Target's a little wider than you think if you look backwards. But if you're standing on teeing grounds over here, it looks like single file to some of these holes, but they're wider than you think. So it's a course to me that rewards precision. It's a course to me that it doesn't matter who the long drivers are. You're going to see a mixed up leaderboard on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all manner of players, from guys of the Webb Simpson ilk to guys of the Rory McIlroy ilk to all of them Tiger Woods type managerial folks. And so it's just a true gem. And you speak of entertaining, the way this golf course goes, I mean, the first two holes, they're kind of like just like a welcome handshake. One is a driver or a 3-wood and a wedge, maybe. 2's the 5 you can get there in 2. So it's like, hey, welcome to the stadium course. But then this thing beats you up from holes like 3 through 8. Then 9's a 5, it's a little respite. Then 10's softish, 11's the par 5, 12's easy-ish. But then from 13 in, it is going to beat your rear end for you. And then if you want to win, you're going to get by 17 and 18. So it's like, hey, nice having you, now get away from us, because this place is just a real golf course. And it has become, the Players has become by far and away one of my favorite events on tour. And I love coming to this place. And the field they assemble, the golf course, the way it's presented. I mean, this ryegrass right now looks sensational. We've been pretty dry down here in the southeast for the last few weeks. So it's pretty low humidity, not much rain. I don't think any rain in the forecast. This could be difficult by the time the weekend rolls around. So it's going to, once again, just going to be a barn burner, I think.
Yeah, I love Sawgrass. I think it's everything Mark said. It's awesome. And I think 17 is overrated as a whole, but I think the course is I think we underrate it. Like, I think it's really, really good. The only thing I wanted to add is I hope that they don't, and we saw this last year, it was so soft the first day, and they just watered the hell out of it. And it was like, why are we doing this? Like, this course is part of the show. Like, when it's fast and firm. I mean, kind of what we saw last week at Bay Hill. It is, when it's fast and firm, it is awesome. And I hope that I hope they let it, you want it to progress like at a US Open or whatever, but I hope they kind of let it go a little bit over the weekend, because that's when, one, the best players show up, but two, I think it's the most fun to watch as well.
Well, they were double cutting, double rolling greens last year. I'm not sure why they watered the thing. It had been a wet wintertime running into this event. And this week, I haven't heard anything about course preparation and such. But all I think back to was Saturday at the Players when Jason Day won. I can't think of the year, where that golf course was like
16
racetrack. I mean, it was so firm. I watched Jason Day hit a 9-iron to 60 in the par 5. The thing hit in the middle of the green and bounced over the back and went in the water. And I was like, holy smoke. And there, folks were irate. And Ken Duke shot 67, I think it was. And this 65, I mean, it was still 67 would have been just bananas the way the golf course was playing, because it was impossible. So I think there's still a little scar tissue there when you let golf courses go and you double rolling, which is dangerous, and then you double cutting, and all of a sudden here with this maritime climate, the moisture goes away, and this place just turns on a dime. So they're always a little defensive because they don't want it to turn into a circus, because that would be the worst thing for this event.
He gained 10.4 strokes on the field that day. Rick, is that good?
I've heard that's decent. Yes, that'll do. That'll do just fine.
It's Jason Day said it should be the new course record. Joel Beal of Golf Digest did a really good retrospective on it, and he kind of interviewed a bunch of people that were involved, and it's people should go read it. It's on golfdigest.com. It's fascinating. And yeah, the field average on the weekend in round 3 was 75, and he shot a 65.
This is going to sound soft from the old guy in the group. Coach, how old are you?
45.
45. Well, I'm the old guy in the group. After walking that golf course that Saturday afternoon, it was so hard that I sat in my hotel room that evening and my ankles were actually sore. I mean, it was like walking on cement for like 5 hours. And I just watched Jason Day, who hits the thing like a country mile in the air, and they come down vertically. Balls just hitting and bouncing as high as me. And I was like, this is impossible. And then this guy shot 65. That's just crazy. Just nuts.
Absolutely love it. I like that the idea that the course is part of the show, which I think is great. I've got a free year of Sportsline, a subscription to give away for free, and that'll get you access to award-winning picks, the patented Sportsline model, and all you have to do is leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts for the first cut. Leave us a player that is going to miss the cut at the Players. Leave your Twitter handle and make sure you're following at First Cut Pod on Twitter so that we can get a hold of you. And gentlemen, we've got to get into our picks. We've got to get into our one and done. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors. And we're back. It is, of course, March. So we've got bracket games, and pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. You can create a pool to compete against friends or fill out your bracket for the chance to win a Nissan Rogue and a trip to the 2022 Final Four. You can play on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/brackets. We have a group. We have a First Cut group. You can join it. It is called Official First Cut Podcast Bracket Game. A link is in the description. We cannot give away prizes. However, if your username happens to match your Twitter handle, maybe there's a way we'll contact you and there might be a perk. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Legal. Don't talk to me. Just throwing it out there. Maybe make your username your Twitter handle. That'll be a good way to get it done. Coach, you going to fill out a bracket? How do you like your chances this year?
You're damn right. I feel great this week. Are you kidding me? I've been so ice cold. There's no way that I'm at Antarctica right now. So I can only get warmer. So yes, I'm ready to go.
All right, we're going to pull up Coach's betting card right now. This is our little Jupiter of the West super contest is what we call this. And Coach, I'm going to break this up into a couple different segments and get your thoughts on here. So I'm going to go through your matchups first. You have Rory McIlroy over Jon Rahm. You have Daniel Berger over Tyrrell Hatton. And your best bet is Justin Thomas over Xander Schauffele. So talk me through your matchup picks here.
So my matchup picks look like this because I wanted to go with really good iron players and also players that played well here before. Justin Thomas, I think, arguably with Colin Morikawa, is the best, are the two best iron players on tour right now. Xander, the reason his value is so high is because he has all these top 25s, but a lot of them are like 25th. You know, it's not like top 10s are coming. So for me, this is as much about Xander as it is about JT. Berger, I just think that it was an anomaly, his last event. I'm going to go off his last 8 months. And then Rory, we know he's won here recently. He's technically the defending champion. And I just don't think Jon Rahm has his A game right now. So I'll take Rory, even with his B game, to beat Rahm with his C or D game right now.
The aforementioned Colin Morikawa makes an appearance on your betting card as top American, Alex Noren as top Swede, and Christian Bezuidenhout as top South African coach to round out your betting card.
Yeah, think about this for a second. So Morikawa, depending on what book you look at, but at William Hill, he was plus 2,000. So essentially, I'm only losing 800 to get him as the top American and essentially cut the field in half, but I'm getting an extra 20% on Colin Morikawa if you followed all that. So give me Morikawa, who I think is the best iron player on tour right now. We saw it 2 weeks ago at Concession. He takes a week off. He's fresh. did not play at Bay Hill. I think he's going to come back, have another fantastic week. My other two picks, Bezuidenhout, a lot of people don't know about him, but he's been playing really good golf. He doesn't have to beat a lot of people, and Alex Noren is the same way. I'm getting plus money on all three of those bets. I'll take him to the pay window every time.
Hey, Coach, say it after me.
Yes.
Bezuidenhout.
Bezuidenhout.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
What the heck?
We educate and entertain, man.
That was the first try. I like that.
Thank you, Mark.
Coach is like way farther down the road than me and Rick.
I try to avoid. I will avoid putting a South African on my card if Mark's going to be on the show. I'm like, I don't know.
You know what I used to do at Sports Center? This is a little trick I had when I did Sports Center. If we'd get handed a shot sheet and you literally, you're coming out of break and you're showing the highlight, I would see if Bezuidenhout or whatever was in there, I'd be like, Bezuidenhout, and I sound like I was going to sneeze. And I would do that with every name that I couldn't pronounce, and that was my thing, and nobody knew that I didn't know the name. So that was my little key for Sports Center.
I love it. Okay, Mark, we're going to get to your betting card here next, and we tried to get you the matchups. We're making progress here. I think we got a little bit better this week from your 5 nationality bets. We got closer. We're getting closer.
Did you say nationality bets? Is that
nationality bets.
Coach, I've got zero idea about this stuff because I see you. I'm betting 10 to win 9.95, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Why you try and bet to win less than what you bet? I just don't get it. But anyways. I was in the airport and I got a text message from Rick going, Mark, here's the link. And I was like, this dude is a scholar and a gentleman. Yeah. So I'm trying to get in here and then I get some page that says in certain states, you're not allowed to gamble and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I cobbled this stuff together in a hurry. I'm embarrassed at my first bet, no hole in one in the event. But after last week's charade, there were 3. I have a sense that we're not going to see any. So I'm pretty confident about that. Cam Smith is a local boy. He lives here in Ponte Vedra, has been playing well, hits the irons nicely, sort of a precision type guy, so I like him around here. Fleetwood, a lot of guys were dissing him leading into the World Golf Championships events, and then he started to look like he found some form last week. And, he didn't get much television time, sadly, but what I saw, it looked like he had the golf swing rounded out. So I think at plus 900, that's a really good bet. Mm-hmm. And I find this laughable. I mean, Tony Finau could fall out of bed and fall into the top 20. Mm-hmm. How those odds are so good on that. So I had to go there as my best bet. And then Jacko Neiman's going to continue to turn people's heads. Of this, I'm convinced. And this golf course, if we do get some crosswinds, which happens because the golf course sits at right angles to the Atlantic Ocean. So the ocean wind, which happens on nice days, blows across a number of holes. And so if you get the ball up between these pine trees, it can get a little whistled around the place. So as high as he hits it, it can keep the thing really low. I think he's going to have a good week around this place. I really do.
So the thing, Mark, you might have an issue finding the bets, but you don't have an issue finding a lot of winners. You seem to find a lot of winners. You seem to be kicking our butts in one and done and all that stuff. So we should take heed of what you say when we pull up your betting card.
Well, thanks. I'm still in awe of you guys when you're talking about betting, and I actually want to have some sort of a show like this where I get the group of us together and it's like betting for beginners. And I'm going to chair this thing and just let you guys go after it because it's a lot of fun. And look, it's the way golf's going.
I've had this image of Mark in my head that he says these things on the show. I have no idea where, and yet he goes back and watches the show and has a stogie in his hand. And he's leaning back going, those idiots. They don't know.
You know what I did have in my hand, Coach, was that red wine that you bought me the other evening. And it was good, boss. Nice job. That was really good stuff.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
He sits there like this. They fell for another wine bet. They did it again, right? Like that's what he's thinking. So just to recap Mark's card. So it's Joaquin Neiman in a 3-ball over Paul Casey and Jason Day. It's Tony Finau to finish in the top 20. That is Mark's best bet. Tommy Fleetwood to be top European at 9-1. Cam Smith top Aussie at 3-1, and no hole in one, no ace in this event at plus 110. 20 to win 22 of our units. We'll pull up my betting card next. I've tried to to follow the same model I did last week, which served me well, which is essentially focus the majority of my play money, my units on some matchups and some three balls, and then just sprinkle some opportunity on top 10s and maybe some winners outright. So my matchups or my three balls for this week, Jason Day over Casey and Neiman. So unfortunately, Mark, you and I are on different pages on that one. You have Neiman in that three ball. I have Jason Day. I took Matthew Fitzpatrick, who just finds a way to continue to get it done over Patrick Reed as my best bet. And then Webb over Patrick Cantlay. And KP, I've not looked at your betting card yet, but I'm wondering if there's going to be any love on you for Webb on your card.
There's not, but I do have some Patrick Cantlay love.
Oh boy. Then I might be in trouble. I round out my card with a top 10 on Jason Day, a top 20 on Will Zalatoris, and then I could not pass up a Justin Thomas outright and a slammin' Sammy Burns outright. KP, Sam Burns is gonna win eventually. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I'm not gonna miss out on it. I'll tell you that.
Well, hopefully for our group here, it's this weekend with the what is that? 1,000 to 1,
100 to 1,
100 to 1,
100 to 1. Yeah.
Still very good. We've seen some. Siwoo was like 300 to 1 when he won this. I think he was something wild a couple of years ago when he pulled this off. So we'll see.
That was some Oklahoma State math right there by me.
Well, after that, I'm very excited to see your betting card, which we're going to get to right here. And I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have shown some self-restraint, Kyle. You have 9 bets on your card this week. Congratulations. I can talk you through this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here we go. Let's start with your top 10s. You have a top 10 on Patrick Cantlay. That is your best bet. You have a top 10 on Victor Hovland at plus 275, and you have a top 10 on Colin Morikawa at plus 220. So Cantlay and a couple of technically first timers.
Yeah, technically. It was so weird. Like, I feel like every week I'm like, okay, I feel fairly confident about, I don't know, just sort of the general direction this is going to go in. And you start doing Sawgrass research and you're like, I have no idea. Like, I have no clue what's going to happen. You've got every winner since 2004, other than Tiger, was a first-time winner. There's no patterns. There's nothing. So I kind of looked at just like, okay, which guys have been the best from tee to green in 2021, regardless of putting? Don't care about that. Cantlay's number 1 in the world since January 1 in terms of strokes gained overall. He has been putting it pretty well. This course just screams Patrick Cantlay to me. Like, he shot 67 to open round 1 last year before it got canceled. He's been playing really, really well. So yeah, I'm pretty big on Cantlay this week.
I also
like him.
I don't not like him. Who did I have going up against him?
Webb.
I mean, Webb at the Players. I just think Webb is generally undervalued in markets because he's not a flashy guy. He's not a popular guy. I just think he's routinely undervalued.
The problem is, I think, like, if it was Webb against Rory or something, like, I think Cantlay is kind of undervalued as well. So to me, it feels a little like two undervalued guys going against each other.
It's probably true. I missed your Dustin Johnson top 10 as well. So your top 10s are Cantlay, Hovland, Morikawa, DJ. You move to top 20s for Justin Thomas, Sergio Garcia, and you have a top 5 on Jon Rahm.
Yeah. A lot of the top 10, top 5, top 20 stuff is I just hated all the matchups. Like, I just kept going through every matchup and they all were terrible to me. So you didn't miss anything this week, Mark. But the Sergio one is probably the one that stands out the most. He has been, I think, 6 in tee to green this year, putting it horrendously, but he plays well at Sawgrass. I saw yesterday, I think he's made 16 cuts in a row. So when when that's your streak, when you're hitting it well, then you're going to have a shot at finishing in the top 20 on the weekend. And at 3-1, that's kind of all you're going for there.
And with the Patrick Cantlay love, no surprise to see an outright on Patrick Cantlay. And then you snuck in this little guy, a Corey Connors outright at 66-1. He is a ball striker. He's playing well. You think he continues it this week at Sawgrass?
Yep. Better tee to green this year than Rory. Better tee to green this year than Bryson. How about that? And I think we do the thing. You talk about this all the time. We discount the guys that played well last week because they're not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. He did putt well last week, so that's a little, he's not a very good putter. But yeah, I thought 5 at 66-1 was a fair number.
Only sport in the world that we penalized the guy who was the best in the world just days ago is golf. It's a weird game. One and done, gentlemen. So we are closing in on the
Augusta National.
Augusta National. I was thinking the halfway point because I think we're doing 50 events. We've done 21 so far. We're definitely much closer to Augusta National, Coach. I believe that was a shot at you. It certainly wasn't at me.
It was a tremendous shot at me, especially after I got a donut last week. Oh my God.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Coach took Patrick Reed last week and got $0 for him. So his total stands strong at $1.96 million. Coach, the benefit that you have in a week where this is it, guys. This is the largest prize pool, $2.7 million to the winner. This is it. You can get a lot of money here. And the advantage you have, Coach, is you have a lot more golfers available to you. So what are you thinking for this week?
So I actually spent a lot of time on this today, probably way too much for a one and done contest, but this is how badly I want to catch that man that's right next to me on the screen. So I was looking at it, and after about 20 minutes, I swear, I was like, why am I talking about waiting for here, here, and here? This is $2.7 million. So I've got to put my best foot forward. And when it was all said and done, and we talk about tee to green, we talk about approach, we talk about all the metrics that are most important here, it's all about iron play. So it's either going to be Justin Thomas or it's going to be Colin Morikawa. I'm going to take the guy that is fresh, that's coming off a win, and I think he's one of those under-the-radar, step-on-your-throats. I want to show the world how great I am, and there's not a better way to do it than coming off a WGC and walking into TPC Sawgrass and dropping it right on the heads of the best players in the world, the best field in the world. Give me the youngster, Colin Morikawa. Lock it in.
Coach is looking to get $2.7 million from Colin Morikawa for his one and done. Producer Jacob is at $2.6 million. Kyle, $3.3 million. And you are coming off of nearly $200,000 from Paul Casey. You've been on a decent run. You've earned $1.1 million over the last 6 weeks. You're going to look to continue that momentum this week at Sawgrass, and you are circling whom?
Yeah, that was a net $1.1 million after my $400,000 donation to charity.
I think that's a write-off. I think you can write off that,
it really is.
That donation.
I'm just going to keep bringing that up. I get I feel like I can't read when I look at the spreadsheet here. I'm so terrified to pick somebody that I've already picked before. I picked John Rahm like 3 times already, which is unbelievable. I'm probably going to end up taking Cantlay. I think he's going for producer Jacob might have to weigh in on this, but I think the Caps Lock Slam is in play. He won the Zozo, right? What are the other Caps Lock?
CJ Cup. Is that still
CJ Cup? I think Xander won that. So maybe the Caps Lock Slam is not in play, but we got all caps, the players this week. So I'm going to go with, I think I'm probably going to go with Cantlay. I love him this week.
Would you count, does it have to be all cap? Well, I guess players doesn't. So does 3M count?
No. So here it is.
Does RSM count?
It's Zozo, CJ Cup, and players. I thought there was one more, but
there used to be the CIMB.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
we got to figure out what that is.
Patrick Cantlay. Let's go.
Patrick Cantlay, and I just confirmed you have not used him. So if you submit Patrick Cantlay, you are good for this week. I'm at $3.7 million. So I've got some ground to make up on Greg. I've got a little bit of breathing room on Kyle, and it's $2.7 million. And I'm taking a guy. I'm taking Justin Thomas.
Oh!
I just think. Listen, he's doing that lurking thing. He's doing that lurking thing where the irons were hot fire at work day, and he lost 6 strokes off the tee. He said he's been working hard with 3 wood off the tee. He's been working hard on driver. It's not going to happen again. He's lurking. It's coming. Mark is smirking. I don't like when Mark smirks. That's usually a bad sign for me.
You guys are so short-sighted, man. There's other courses where you're going to go well.
I gotta get some cash money here, Mark.
It's a big purse. You got to go for it. But why don't you save him for somewhere that's guaranteed money, like another World Golf Championships event or the Tour Championship? The guy kills it over there, and he's going to be there.
But the problem with guaranteed money is everybody's guaranteed money at those events, right? Yeah. So it's like I feel
some of us are burning selections all of the time, so you're going to get to the end of the season with nothing in your holster.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd rather than get there with 5 studs left for sure that I haven't spent. So we'll see.
He was my other choice. What I'm going to hate is if JT wins this week, I will knock him on the show next week because that was like it came down to those two, and I'll be irate if he comes in for Rick and he doesn't come in for me. Oh,
I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy if he comes in and wins this.
I know you will. I know you will. Oh,
Greg's sitting at so Greg's at 4.8 million. He got $1 million from Tony Finau at Riviera, so he's on a pretty good stretch at the moment. But it's Mark alone at the top, 5.3 million. You are on a stretch of golf that has earned you 783,000 from Victor Hovland, 195,000 from Matthew Fitzpatrick, and now you get to make a pick for the biggest prize purse of the year.
Well, you got me thinking now because I hadn't considered that it is the biggest purse. And I think in FedEx Cup points, as you guys know. I mean, that's the only currency, isn't it?
Okay. That's the only currency. My bank account is completely in FedEx Cup points.
So it's it's 550 this week, or is it 600 for the players? Anyway, but that's beside the point. I like Justin Thomas around here, but I've got a real inkling toward him at Kiowa Island, and he plays well at the PGA Championship, so I'm going to hang on just a little bit with him. As you guys know, I'm saving Rory for the end of the season. I'm hoping Brooks comes back at the end of the season with a good knee. So right now I'm sort of playing sneaky here. I'm not convinced, but right now I'm between Fleetwood and Finau. Probably leaning
to historic
Finau.
Winners there.
Yeah. Well, look, here's the truth. I've just got to stay out of you clowns. All right. So, I mean, this is easy.
He's dropping it on our head. We keep setting him up, and he's knocking it down. We got to stop setting him up. Oh my gosh!
So I got away with Fitzpatrick last week, so I'm going to try and do the same thing. I honestly think Finau is going to play well this week. I do, and if he plays well, he'll get himself in the mix. And it's the kind of place where you can backdoor victories. We see that often. You know, where it's hard to close over here because of the makeup of this golf course. And if you post, you know, Ricky did it. He's historically not the biggest closer in the world. So I think I'm sort of leaning to Finau, but Fleetwood has got my attention in the biggest way.
The other thing, Mark never reveals his picks. He narrows it down to 2, and then we have to wait until Thursday morning to find out what the official pick is.
That's the way to do it.
Very
That's
cagey.
the right way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cagey. It's very smart. That's why he's a top.
Tell me that I haven't used them because
you have not. You're good. Yeah, you can use either of them. You've not used Tony Finau, and you've not used Tommy Fleetwood anywhere. No, you're good. That'll do it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tweet out our expert picks. We'll tweet out the betting cards. We'll update the One and Done League on Twitter. So make sure you are following at First Cut Pod. It is a mega pod for a mega event. It's the Player Championship. Final thoughts. Anybody got anything?
Rory's the defending champ, and we didn't even talk about him.
It's crazy.
I have him on my card. I have him on my card.
Existential Rory, just pontificating about the universe.
Rory's looking for a spark.
Yeah,
he did say that to follow up from what we talked about last weekend. He said that no changes to his team, but just philosophical changes.
Hey, there's just a few weeks until April. That's when we're going to somehow find some game.
That's right.
He's got this gold trophy already.
Just a few weeks till April. That could be the title of this pod for this week. That'll do it. That's Mark Immelman. You can find him on Twitter at Mark_Immelman. That's the coach. You can find him on Twitter at The Coach Rules. You can find Kyle Porter at Kyle Porter CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.